All right, we are live. Okay, so tonight's call, we're going to talk about different ways to build your business, whether it be in pockets of time, utilizing power hours, utilizing daily tasks, any of the things. And I also want to add that you can make these work for you in any season of time. So like you may out of the gate just work in pockets, and then maybe as things change in life you do better with specific hours, and then as more things change, maybe just focusing on daily tasks work better. So there is no right or wrong way to do anything as long as you're doing all of it. So just wanted to add that there because the power of consistency is the biggest thing. So continuing to show up, it's like the compound effect. I don't know who wrote that book because I have not read it yet, but where you like just keep pumping the well and then eventually water comes out. Or if you listen to the National Wake Up Call, I think it was the National Wake Up Call, may have been the summit training from Ashley Molstead, where she talks about pushing her boulder up the mountain, and for 5 years she was really not seeing much momentum in her business. Darren Hardy, thank you. I couldn't remember. But she wasn't seeing much momentum, but she just kept going because she knew that the opportunity was there, and she just kept pushing and pushing and pushing until she found people that would push that boulder up the mountain with her. So there's just no right or wrong way, guys. Just keep going. That's all I can say. And I know that there's probably a bunch of us in here that have been coaches for about the same time, and I think we can all say the same. So I wanted to throw this in here. This is just something I found to be very helpful with connecting to people. So we all know that this is like a people business. So finding your people, as we say, or really just finding people that are like you, those are the ones that you're gonna find your coaches from. Like that's where you're gonna find your coaches, your people that are similar to you. So I found this, and I think I have a bigger document that you can print this on in a picture as well. But I like following this for just going through connecting, and it really helps get you seen a little bit more, especially on Instagram. But you can follow it for either, except for like you can't really bookmark a post and things like that on Instagram. But you can engage with people, create story polls, all of those on either. So if Facebook is your main preference, don't be afraid to adjust this for how you do your business. And then here we go. So starting off, we all know we have to be proof of the products. So of course, our daily things that we are going to do is our workout and Shakeology, social media posts and stories. I personally don't post every single day. I usually do 6 posts. And one of those posts is a quote. So it's usually 5 posts a week. It just helps me find wording better and really not just throw a post up to throw a post up. So I like doing it that way. Personal development, of course, checking in with your challenge group, posting in there, and then recognizing people as they are accomplishing things. So something that I actually was working on right before we started is I do a VIP every month. So anyone who orders anything during the month prior is one of my VIPs. And I put them all in like a little banner in Canva, and all their names go up there. And then every month I just randomly pick a winner with a random name drawer on Google. And one of each month someone gets a prize. So that's been something. So I'm not penalizing anyone for not being active or not being able to afford something for a month. But it still gets them wanting to like get their name on the board and things like that. And then I always add that little photo to our challenge group and say like congratulations to the winner this month and tag whoever it was. And then I put it in my stories, and then I also put it into my weekly newsletter. So and on there usually I also will recognize anyone who's new. So anyone who maybe joined my community, I have a little template that's like a welcome to the tribe. I have one that says welcome to my team, same thing. So it goes in my team email. And it's just something fun to keep people engaged. I stole that idea from Taylor, actually, Val. I thought it was a really good idea. I love that. So then as far as daily tasks go, I used to run my business this way. So I would mass invite on Monday. So typically it would go from the week before. So I look back at like maybe my post from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of that week prior, see who liked and commented on my photos in my post. And then I would send them an invite from there. Keeping notes on these, like maybe looking at their profile for a minute, finding similarities. That's always super helpful. So I usually will find pictures of dogs because those people are my people. So if they're a dog mom or something like that, and that way when I'm sending them a message or an invite, then I know what we have in common already. So that's on Monday. Tuesday is finding your tribe. So this is like really finding your people. So take a few minutes cleaning out. I did not update this, I'm sorry. Don't use an IG cleaner, do it yourself. You'll get blocked. Or, oh yeah, never mind. I did update it. Ignore me. My brain this week is not functioning very well. But cleaning out your friends. So I usually unfollow like 50 people before I do this. So people that maybe I just was going through on the network flow and just kind of going through a page that's similar to mine or someone that I like and following their followers, but maybe they're not my people and I can look at their profile and be like, not really someone I'd like. Or one time a bunch of people were following me that were like photographers and I'm not a photographer, like that's not something that I do. So like not my people, so I unfollowed them. But then you can also search and find people by utilizing hashtags that maybe describe you and typing them in the search bar to find accounts that you may also jive with. So for me, like maybe hashtag Dobie Mom would be one, and then I could see who my people are by using that. For Facebook, just usually following or adding people who are friends with your mutual friends, because at least you have some connection to them. And then there's a little goal down there, like 100 new followers on Instagram, maybe 20 friends on Facebook, however you want to do it. Wednesday, this is where I'm providing support for my people. So checking in one-on-one personal messages with my clients, with my team, even though I send them like 2 emails a week, just kind of checking in, because I think sometimes they're afraid to maybe reply to an email and say, I'm struggling here, but when you reach out in a message, they may tell you what is going on. And Amber had a very good idea, was that last week, about finding people who may be struggling with the same thing and then putting them into like smaller message threads too. And then that way they still have the big group, but they have this smaller tight-knit community that they can share things with too. Seeing what goals are, things like that. Thank you Thursday. So this would be kind of one more take on building connections. So this is really finding your people. So on Thursdays, you set up the invites that you have for the following Monday. So writing down all the names of people who have liked on your post. And then that's where you take that couple minutes and look at their profile and see what similarities you have, liking on 5 posts, commenting on 3, asking you a question. I don't always follow that, but at least I'm going when I like on some of their stuff that sticks out, comment, even if it's on 1 or 2, asking a question, engaging with them. And then if they reply back to your comment, I always reply back again. So if I say, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute, like what is that? Or what kind is that? And they reply back and then they say, you know, it's a kind of golden doodle. I'm like, oh, so cute. Like I have 2 Dobermans. They're such babies. Like, is yours a baby too or something? And that it keeps the conversation going back and forth that way. You okay, Kenna? You look very good.
I'm trying to send a message to you asking if you could share this document, but I keep sending it to Allison and I don't. It says everyone and it just keeps going. Just to Allison.
Just like Allison. Okay. So like, it's because you two are in the same time zone. Yes.
I sent it like 3 times.
Okay. She's like, what is happening? Like, what am I saying wrong? Oh no. This would be my life this week. And Friday is following up. So making sure any open conversations that I have, I'm replying back if someone says yes, send me more info on whatever, you're replying back to them. I sometimes will try to keep up with these throughout the week, like a couple minutes while I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep, or if I'm just sitting on the couch and Harry's like watching something on TV for a few minutes before we head to bed. I will also try to do these as well, but sometimes I don't get to it, so it's good to have a day like this to do it. And then drafting like your emails, if you have an email system for your current clients, checking in with them. You can send just like a Woofu form out if you want to check them that way, a Google form, however you want to do it. And then also like drafting like monthly newsletters prior to like launches or a new month or new group. You can utilize that time as like a follow-up as well. And then, okay. Woofu. It's like Google Forms. If you type it, it's basically another way of gathering like information. If you just Google, it's WUFOO. It's just like Google Forms. I used to use those a lot, but then I think the free you only are allowed to have maybe 5 forms or something like that. Where Google Forms you can have like as many as you want. So I used to use that, and now I kind of use Google Forms. And then the Weekend Warrior plan is basically getting ready for the week ahead. So this is where, if you're resting as far as like maybe taking a day off just from social media, but making sure on the back end that you're like getting your meal plan and your post plan together, grocery shopping, and just leading your team and your challengers by example that you're setting up yourself for success for the following week is always a good thing. Also, this is sometimes where I'm like doing the extra stuff that I may not have gotten to during the week, like posting in your challenge group, like scheduling posts and things like that, getting that all done. And then I'll let Amber take it from here. I'm going to mute myself. Do I have to do something?
Okay, so I made this like oh my God, really? Did I really put poor hours on there? Like, is this for real right now? Oh my God. I clearly have no idea what's happening at all in my life. Okay, so that's not
wine time. It's wine time.
Okay, so that's supposed to be power, not poor. Anyway, sorry. You know what I mean though, right? Okay, so like, right? So basically, Tiffany and I actually do this. We have a set time at 6 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. And we use a timer. I'll just tell you what we do. And it's basically the income producing activities. So we do growing, following, connections, inviting, and following up pretty much. It's usually about 10 minutes, like 5 or 10 minutes of like growing, following. So searching the hashtags and stuff like that, just to like, find new people to connect with, especially on Instagram, because it's a little trickier than Facebook is. Facebook, you send somebody a friend request and they accept or they don't. But Instagram is like a black hole. Like you can get so stinking lost. So the timer is super, super helpful. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but one of the things that I do when I'm on Instagram is I click, like if I find somebody that like I like and I want to connect with, there's a save button. And you can click like that little flag underneath like the picture and you can categorize it. So you can put it in like different collections. So like that's what I do. Like I make note of like who I want to go back and connect with and stuff, like people that I've like commented on a post or something like that. And then I'll go back and, see what they're up to, kind of a thing. And then, so that's kind of partly connecting. But most of the connections, like on the next one, we usually do, this is like a big chunk, is like 30 minutes of connecting. So, connecting with the people who are liking and commenting and watching your stories and stuff like that and engaging in conversations. I use that time to, so I'll reach out to like all the new people, and then I'll go back and like have conversations with people who I have unread messages from and stuff like that. And then inviting and following up. Sometimes we chunk this into one. It just depends on the morning. But that's usually about 20 minutes or so that we do that. I don't know if that adds up. I think that adds up 10, 30, 20. That's usually how we do it. But it just depends on the morning. But everybody's power hour and all the tasks that you're doing might look differently. So you might want to spend more time growing your following, or you might want to spend more time inviting. I found that personally, it's easier for me to do like inviting for a certain amount of time than it is to say, I need to invite this many people, just because, I don't know, Sam, I don't know if you know this. I work full time. Tiffany does as well. And I, in a normal world, have a 50-minute commute one way to work. So it is easier for me to break it into hours than it is to do pockets of time, just because of the way that my work schedule is right now. That's basically a power hour. As long as you're doing like income producing activities in that hour, that's really what matters the most. Does that help? Does anybody do a power hour differently? Katie, are you on here? I can't see your face.
I'm here.
Hey, do you do power
Hey.
or pockets of time?
Pockets of time.
Okay. So all right, that's the next slide.
Yeah, this is how I do it. It hasn't always been like this, but this is what I'm rolling with now. So, okay, are you ready for me, Amber? Are you good?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. All right. Hey, friends. Like I said, this has not always been like this for me. I have been back and forth, and I know Tiffany said that this really meets you where you're at in your season of life. And so right now, I don't have 5 hours, or an hour or 3 hours, whatever it is, to sit down and work. So I really work in pockets of time. And right now that's actually scheduled pockets of time. Like when I've got 4 boys and my husband just got back from a 1-year deployment. So it looked totally different just a couple months ago. And it looked a lot crazier then too. I was just, sitting in the parking lot waiting for one of my boys to come out from sports, doing my follows or making my connections. So right now I do have a little bit more time that he is home and they're not back at school just yet. And I'm just filling in, I like to call these my pockets of sunshine. And I am filling in that time, but it's very, very intentional time. And it's super easy to get distracted by all of the non-business tasks. And like, okay, well, like the fun stuff, I'll put together this slide, or gosh, there's so many things. We just down like the rabbit hole of Instagram and Facebook. So it's really important just to know exactly what you're doing when you sit down to fill in, whether it be a power hour or a pocket of time. But like I said, I like to call them my pockets of sunshine. And I know that when I sit down, I have my list of what I need to get done. And if that pocket of time does not allow me to get everything in, then I just know that next pocket of time, exactly where I left off, is where I'm going to pick up. And so it keeps me on task. So as far as growing my following, and honestly, I've been so back and forth with this. I have had my Instagram shut down before because I hired, somebody to help me build my following. And I got, sorry, I'm going to turn my phone up here. I got like really weird followers, really weird followers. And so that was a long time ago. And I kind of promised myself that from that point on, I was going to organically grow my following. There's no way I was doing this again because, oh my gosh, I'm still trying to like weed through all of those weird followers that I got. But as far as growing it now, I sit down and I know that at first when I heard somebody tell me this, it was so intimidating. I was like, I'm never doing that. And this is what I do now. So I follow 100 people a day. And I know that it sounds like a lot sometimes. I say it because when I heard it at first, I was like, there's no way, that's a lot. But once you get into a groove and I'll go in and that day I know that I'm going to go into the Instagram page of, yes, blocking to Tiffany, like, no, thank you, you're not watching my stories. But going into like a product that I have been using a lot over the past week or two, and I go in there and I look for moms, whether it be like, gosh, what did I just do the other day? I had this awesome makeup and that has sunscreen in it. And I went in there and I looked for other moms. And so I know that we've got something in common. I'm not just searching random hashtags and following a bunch of random people. So I will go into their profile, number one, to make sure that they're not a coach. And number two, to see if we have anything in common. And then I will follow. And then every single Sunday, and this is actually something that my husband and I do coach together, and this is something that he's been helping me out with too, is he'll unfollow for me. So we'll give it a couple days and he'll go in and he'll see who has not followed me. And so we'll do like 50. I've been having a really hard time with Instagram, to be really honest with you. So we did like 10 the other day and it says, sorry, we can't let you complete this action. And it's just really weird because I'm in my profile unfollowing myself. I'm not using, so I don't know if anybody else is, but let's see what else here. So connections. So in my pockets of time, I'm making sure that I'm connecting with like-minded people. I want people like me. And number one, I'm going to, through my posts and through my feed and through my stories, I'm going to share me. I'm going to share myself authentically. So that attracts people. Another way is through my posts. I'm going to talk to the person that I was before I started my journey. That is something that I just did a post tonight. And it was talking to Katie 3.5 years ago, walking through the steps of where I was then, what I did to overcome all of my struggles, how I did it, and just letting you know, hey, there was no invite at the bottom of that post. It was just, hey, I'm cheering for you and let me help you. So that's how you really want to make those connections. So you're liking their photos. If you see something that catches your eye, whether it be something that they're wearing, or I know everybody always get a ton of comments about, hey, where'd you get that headband? And that is a conversation starter right there. Oh, you like headbands too, and you can talk about whatever that you have in common. So you really just want to make connections with, just genuine connections with the people that are like-minded. You go to their profile, you see if you have anything in common. And, if you do, especially if you make that connection, they're most likely going to follow you back. Or if they come to your grid or your Facebook page and they scroll through and they see a couple things that they love, they're going to want to keep following you. And then, so my Instagram stories is really time for me to make that connection, and it's messy and it's unfiltered, and sometimes it's pretty and sometimes it's just like, hey, this is me today, and I might be a hot mess and some days I might be on it, but that's the best way that I can show people who I really am. So it's messy, it's unfiltered, sometimes it's filtered because they've got all those cool filters now that I like to play around with, but am I missing anything? What else is anything about an idea? Okay, awesome. And then, so that's my behind the scenes way of connecting with people. And then after, I get through the posting and I'm making connections and I'm liking and I'm commenting, it's time to invite. And that has always been my biggest struggle. That is like, my fear has always gotten in the way from inviting. And so personal development has totally has helped get me through that fear of inviting, because we truly have a gift and people need us. And there's somebody out there that needs you, just like you needed the person who came and invited you to this opportunity. There's probably a lot more than one, but we'll start with one. They need us, and we have a gift to offer. And if we don't offer that to them, I don't know. I always hear Katie Ursa telling me that we'd just be a jerk not to share. And then inviting is just, they watch my stories, they're watching me. I'm letting them into my life. That is my cue to say, hey, I see you watching my stories. Is there anything that I can help? Like, what can I show in my stories that you would like to see, that you would like to hear? How can I serve you better? How can I help you? And inviting, just saying, hey, if you skip past somebody and you see that they've been watching, hey, I feel so awful that I didn't invite you to this, and you share what you're inviting to. And then that's another quick thing too. Just make sure you always know what you're inviting to, and it makes it so much easier to have the invite. Like if you have a date, if you have a group, coaching opportunity, whatever you're inviting to, you want to make sure that you know that, because it's so much easier to invite. Say, hey, this is what I've got. This is when we're starting. Here's how I can help. And it makes the invite so much more seamless. And then following up, it's the power of the follow-up. And I just want to share this too before I kind of end this here. The power is in following up and then making sure you track. If they ever asked you if you were interested, write it down. Whatever your method is, I still write it down on paper, because I'm just not in the digital world of things just yet with tracking. But track it. If they ask you if they're interested, if they like your post, and they say, yes, I want to know more, no, I'm not ready yet, maybe later, I'm not sure, whatever it is, write their name down, because I know that I've skipped over a lot of people because my tracking system was horrible. And following up, just make sure you follow up. I had somebody last night message me that they've told me that they've been following me for 1.5 years now. Haven't said a word, don't even know this person. We made the connection. We talked about how I could help her, and she just enrolled this morning. So the power is in the follow-up. She was afraid at first. She was really afraid at first. And I told her I understood, and I walked her through that. And she let me know that she's been watching me for 1.5 years now. Never liked a post, she's not on my Instagram stories, nothing. And then she just messaged me. So thanks, Allison. It's trust me, I've come a long way with my posts.
I can't read the chat.
Not nearly. What's that, Tiffany?
Oh, I was like, I couldn't get the chat open.
Oh.
But I was gonna add to that too. Do you always save inviting for last, or would you maybe recommend to do the inviting right off?
Inviting first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it's always the scariest thing. So like, that's what Amber and I usually try to like start with too, because we know it's the hardest one.
It was always at the bottom of my list, and now it's at the top.
Yeah. Okay. And I also agree. I think it was Ashley Molson's call also that I just listened to today. But she said, think about also like where you were, like you said, before you started, but think about what would happen if you didn't send that invite. What if that next person is out there who needs you more than you know, and you're too afraid to ask them? So people will get mad. People will think
it's either that, or they just will find someone else to help them.
And they may not have the support system. So, just think about that. Think about what if you just thought the person that invited you was just trying to get a sale or whatever but look at where you are now. And if you wouldn't have said yes, or they wouldn't have had the courage to send the message to you. So just something crazy to think about. Any questions? I think that's the last slide. Is that the last slide?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions?
I'll stop sharing my screen. I think we have like 4 minutes roughly.
I know, I tried to do a 5-minute warning in the chat. We always get cut up. Can we get a picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for this? Ready?
Yeah. Okay. As ready as we're gonna be. So stop.
My kid got a Lego up his nose today.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Is he okay?
Fine. Brian pulled it out with tweezers, but
Whoa.